Hey everyone, and welcome to What Makes This Play Great, a brand new series I'm going to be doing all year where I take a specific moment from a game, or maybe it's an out of bounds play, a big play, and a pivotal moment in a game, and I go through everything frame by frame and explain what was happening in that play and what made it so special, maybe some of the details you missed. The inspiration for this series actually came from a guy named Rick Beato, who has a fantastic YouTube page up. He's a music engineer and producer, and he breaks down songs. And I just love the format. I think it'll lend itself great to looking at the Denver Nuggets and specific things that they do, and hopefully giving you some insight into some of the things you maybe overlooked in the game. Today, in our first episode, we're going to take a look at a play called 21 Chase, or 51 Chase is what the Nuggets run. I'll explain the difference in terminology here in a little bit, but 21 Chase, also known as pistol, is one of these plays that was really popularized by Mike D'Antoni and the 7 Seconds or Less Suns, and that team as influential as any team in the last 20 years, and it's really one of those plays that every team in the NBA runs and has some sort of action out of. The idea with this play is to get in transition or sort of a secondary break, kind of a quick early offense, getting the court spread out so that all 5 guys are out along the perimeter. And if we look at it here, the first action with this play, you're trying to get the point guard dribbling towards the baseline. And to set it up, you have 2 players on the weak side spacing the court. Sometimes they'll run an exchange action there, like a flare screen or a down screen. Sometimes they'll just space the court and stand still. But the strong side with the 3 players, the ball handler can be a shooting guard, and then obviously the chase screen, the center. You're just trying to get a little weave action, and the first screen comes from the baseline. And what you're going to see here is Torrey Craig doesn't quite set the screen on the ball. And I think a lot of people look at these types of things and say, oh, nobody screens in the NBA, nobody makes contact. That's true sometimes, but in the NBA, sometimes you're not trying to make contact. You're trying to draw your defender out of position for whatever action comes next. And in this play, that's exactly what's happening. You can see Torrey Craig here is showing that he's going to set the ball screen, but what he's really trying to do is drag Damian Lillard out into that open space there outside of the paint. And he successfully does that. So he doesn't quite set the screen. Damian Lillard stays there so that he can help turn the corner. And then Mason Plumlee comes with that flare screen, and now Damian Lillard being out of position, he's not there to be able to catch up and challenge the shot. Torrey Craig gets a wide open 3. Let's look at another example here. Once again, you got Torrey Craig coming up, doesn't quite make contact, but the Spurs being as good as they are, they're always knowing what play Denver's trying to run. So Rudy Gay does a good job of containing dribble penetration, but then recovering quickly out onto the ball. Patty Mills does a great job of jumping the screen and cutting off that sideline so Monte Morris can't turn the corner. But here comes that second part of the action. Mason Plumlee comes to relieve him, and now you've got a dribble handoff or a dribble pitch here that lends itself perfectly to this nice floater action. So you're kind of drawing the defense in one direction and then making them pay for drawing themselves in that direction the next time around. Here you go, Trey Lyles runs the action. And let's rewind it here so we can take a look. Trey Lyles runs this action. He might have been there, but Monte Morris very craftily, he notices that Damian Lillard anticipates the ball screen coming from Mason Plumlee. Damian Lillard jumps that, and Monte Morris goes behind his back, and now Damian Lillard's out of position to recover. You got that nice little pocket pass, break down the defense, and it leads to a wide open bucket here. Let's look at one more example here for the Nuggets from the regular season. And when I talk about not everybody sets screens, when you're Torrey Craig, you're trying to release for that open 3-point shot. When you're Nikola Jokic, you might actually be trying to make contact on this screen. And earlier I said that Denver runs what I call 51 Chase. Of course, they call this something different. Every team has their own terminology. But the reason I'm calling it 51 Chase instead of 21 is instead of having a shooting guard in that spot, it's usually a point guard, a 4 and a 5, a power forward and a center. And that's part of what makes Denver so unique. They have such skilled centers in Mason Plumlee and Nikola Jokic that they can put guys in the position to handle the ball and make plays. Here you see Nikola Jokic makes that screen or contact on that screen. It probably could have got called for a foul here. But now the defense is broken down, and watch how Nikola Jokic is able to run this play. Once the play is broken down, Jokic isn't just a spot-up shooter. He's able to attack the defense and get right to the basket. Of course, he sets the screen on Whiteside to make things easy for him. Now that we've seen that play, let's take a look at an audible Denver can call out of this set. So all year you run the action with 2 or 3 different variables out of it. But in the playoffs, when a team has been scouting you and trying to learn your tendencies, then you can bring out a counter, something completely unexpected, which is what Denver did in Game 3 of their playoff series with the Spurs. Here you can see that this play sets up exactly like the rest of the 51 chase series. But instead of going for that, setting that brush screen and then going for the flare screen, notice how Torrey Craig actually slips and goes right towards the basket. So right now it's already an audible, and you can see that the Spurs switch this action. Then, as Mason Plumlee is coming to set that chase screen, just as you would anticipate in all the other examples, instead he turns around and sets this flare screen on Malik Beasley. You can see Jakob Poeltl is completely lost now, completely against what the scouting report said, and he has to switch on to Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley now has a mismatch against a very slow-footed center, and meanwhile, Mason Plumlee is able to grab position for an offensive rebound against an undersized guy. The play works perfectly, it fools the defense, and it gets Denver a bucket. So that's the series. That's 51 chase, and Denver can run this in a lot of different environments, sometimes as an ATO or an out-of-bounds plays, ATO after timeout. A lot of times in the timeout, a coach will drop a specific play, something that they've worked on in practice and they're familiar with, but they'll make sure everybody's on the same page and then execute it. Denver can run it as an ATO. They can run it off of a missed shot as sort of a fast break action, or they can run it after a made basket just in the half court, walk the ball up court, and then get into this. There's so many different counters and different ways for Denver to read and react to the court, and the best teams, they know all of the principles and all of the options, and they just read each other and move around the court to keep the defense on their heels. Well, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. That was 51 Chase, and this was the What Makes This Play Great series. I can't wait to be doing these with you all season long, and I'll see you then.
The Warriors and Denver also, Trey Lyles getting some action along with Monty Moore. They've got Mason Plumlee out there, and Morris all the way.
It's only the second main bucket for the Timberwolves here in this quarter. Baseline flow, man, that touched every part of it.
27-13.
Plumlee's got the tap. That might be a good omen. Let's give you our officials tonight: Ken Mauer, Murat Kogan, and Jason Gold. Start of a back-to-back for the Denver Nuggets. It's the 8th this season. Jumper from the corner is Gary Harris, and it's good.
And a good way to start. Dempsey and I
back in the rhythm, guys.
And you know what, Chris, another thing also is now here's another thing he's got to learn: to go down, got all loose, played good early, now come back off that bench with that same energy and style.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I like his activity level, and so the aggressive.
I love the relationship. Mike Malone is somebody I've known a long time and was my lead assistant when I was coaching. Outstanding basketball mind, works his tail off, prepared, a great competitor. He's done a great job for this Nuggets team.
Isaiah Thomas to the basket. The lead is up to 20.